And this is Get Gaming, the channel by two gamers with a Y for
gamers with or without a Y.
That's exactly right. And today we're bringing you one of our last wrap-up videos for 2022. There's still a couple more to come, so stay tuned. But this is going to be our top 11 discoveries of 2022. So these are not necessarily games that were released in 2022, but games that we played in 2022 that blew our... Exactly right. That's an exact recreation of what our brains looked like after we played some of these games. This is going to be a joint list because we're reshooting this because we filmed the list, but we had so much crossover, we decided we should just make it a shared list. So we want to do some honorable mentions first. Would you like to start?
The honorable mentions are mostly not because they're not just as worthy as the other games on the list.
There can only be 11.
There can only be 11, and at least two of the games we only played once. Or at least I only played once. You played them on BGA and elsewhere. One was one of Andy's Christmas presents, which was Castles of Burgundy, which is
one of my favorite games of all time.
That is right.
Published by Aaliyah and designed by Stefan Feld. This is a classic in the hobby. Tile placement game, basically with engine building, because a lot of the tiles do different unique things. It's an efficiency puzzle par excellence. So this is a game that I introduced to Rich in 2022 towards the end. So that's why he's only played it once. And I was very happy with your response to it because I had been building up this game for months for you.
That's true.
And I was really nervous, actually, about teaching it to you because I wasn't sure if you were going to like it. Because a lot of times when I've taught a game to you for the first time, you have like a strong initial negative reaction.
I feel very attacked!
Relax. Sometimes.
So I realized that's because you're often confused. And I was talking to Jeff from Foster the Meeple about this in regards to A Feast for Odin. Because that's a game they tried to teach Jamie that she didn't enjoy because she felt confused. Like she didn't know what to do in the game. And that's a game that can be very overwhelming. So if you're teaching a heavier game to someone, I was saying I think it's a very good idea to do as much hand-holding as possible. Which is,
absolutely.
I think... I mean, how'd you feel that the teach of this one went?
I like it when you play a game for the first time, especially a more difficult game such as this, if you're allowed to just catch on at your own rate, but the other person is going to be there holding your hand, kind of going, well, look over here if you do, pointing things out and explaining as it goes along. There's no way when you're, especially on a game like this, it's very difficult to just explain the rules in one 5-minute session or something.
I mean, yeah, because mechanically what you're doing on your turn is quite simple. You're using your 2 die to be able to go shopping and take a tile and then potentially place the die. Where the game gets complicated is all the different effects of the different tiles, which even for someone like me, I thought I was, somewhat familiar with this game, and I was still having to look up a lot of the monastery tiles and stuff, and be like, oh, what does this tile do again? And so I think it being my only second time playing it physically, because I played it solo before I taught it to you, which was a wise decision. It's just different when you're playing a game on BGA versus playing the physical copy sometimes.
Because they kind of prompt you.
There's some automation.
Yeah.
You can, in BGA, you can scroll over all the tiles and it'll tell you what it does. But just trying to teach it to someone else for the first time helped me get definitely a better grasp on how that all kind of functions together.
There's a lot of little ins and outs to a game like this. Just there's ancillary rules and things that you don't think of maybe when you're explaining it. So the first time, it's almost like don't make it a competitive situation the first time. Just like you said, you wanted me to enjoy the game so I would like it and want to play it again. And yes, absolutely. And so
that made me so happy. That was the best Christmas gift of all.
Yeah, so and I'm looking forward to playing it again. And like I said, I know there might be people that think, well, how can this be an honorable mention? Why isn't it one of them? It's just, it could be.
I do want to say real quickly, in A Feast for Odin, I think it's more difficult to do the hand holding because in that game, it's just more difficult. So I will grant Jeff that. So I'm extra nervous about when we go to Feast for Odin. It's really going to be on me to, do what I preach and see what Jeff really went through in trying to teach that game. So, we will see. That will definitely be a time will tell thing.
Yeah, this one, I don't know that I could explain it to someone else, but I remember it's dice placement.
Dice workers.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It did seem similar to maybe some other games we've played, so that helped, because if you haven't played a game like this before, then you especially would really need to take your time and really do the hand holding.
So let's talk about our other honorable mention. There's two more honorable mentions, but Stardew Valley. This is published by Concerned Ape and designed by Cole Medeiros and Concerned Ape. His name's Eric Baroni, but Yes, we talked about this game a little bit already, I think, on the channel. It's technically a worker placement game. It's co-op, but everyone just has one worker, and you're moving through the world of Stardew Valley. This is based on a very popular video game, and this was a must buy for me when they did the second printing of this in February, and this was a really surprising discovery because I heard a lot of mixed reviews about this one.
I think this one was a late birthday present for you. I had ordered it, I think, to be for your present.
So good at doing the things I tell him.
I did. I am good. But you're right. It came after because his birthday's actually in January. This is another one. I only got to play this game once. I also had a really fantastic time and enjoyed playing this. Again, Andy's doing more of the heavy lifting, especially in this game. I think I caught on maybe a little quicker.
I quarterbacked you straight over the victory goalpost.
So that was, those are Grandpa's goals or something. Mm-hmm. It was fun. I like the way that the game was designed and what you're doing in the game, going around getting resources and stuff. It was actually very enjoyable and fun.
I was very impressed how much content they were able to import from the video game but still make it feel like a very solid game in its own right. Because it is kind of Euro-y in a way, with all the way you're trying to convert resources to get other things, to be able to do this kind of contract fulfillment. It works really well. And this is the number one game. Rich is always saying, you know what game we should play again that we haven't played in a while? This one. So
I know. I
really
think
need to do it.
Yeah, I think ever since we did play it, I think I've reminded you every month. It's like, we should play Stardew Valley.
True. It's me.
It is because you get a lot of new games, and he wants to play the new ones. And I would like to get back into Stardew Valley.
Yeah, we really need to put this into rotation. I think it was the setup that was overwhelming me because there are a lot of decks. There's a lot of cards. Yeah. It does have a tray for all the farming resources, though, so just pull that out. That's pretty nice. But, yeah, we definitely need to get back to this and revisit it in 2023. And who knows, it could be on our top list then.
2024, yeah.
I definitely want to play it more. And then our last honorable mention is, I cannot find it at this moment, but it's Sushi Go Party. Because I couldn't not mention it on this list because we were really hot on it when we first discovered it. And I want to get it back into the rotation again. Because it's just so good at every player count. It's such a good go-to game. I've taught it to drunk people. I've taught it to children. I played it 8 with 8 drunken people. So
as long as it's not drunken children.
I'm drinking with the kids. Yeah, exactly. It's my favorite drafting game. It's light, but it has just the right level of crunch. So I really enjoy that one. I know a lot of people have gotten sick of it. That have played that ad nauseum and are like, that game.
Well, you can't.
So basic.
Yeah. It's hard on games like that. There are different items of sushi and various things like chopsticks and other things related.
Sushi.
But still, so there is variety. But yeah, if you were playing it constantly,
the thing I like about Sushi Go Party is the different modules that you can play and how you can mix and match kind of things. So that's a really fun one just to work through all the different kinds of modules in it. Because they're so different.
I think it's a great kids game, especially. So it's a gateway game for children, definitely.
Yeah, and Party's in the title. God, that's the party game for me.
I think it's a great family game.
Great filler game, I guess, is probably the slot it will end up occupying in the collection. But yeah, that's one I kind of want to pull out a little bit more into the rotation as well. And it was such a big discovery because we played it with so many different player counts. It's just fit so many different potential niches and occasions.
In that sense, it's completely worth the money because it's not even one of the more expensive games out there.
I like Gamewright is like one of those budget-friendly kind of publishers, but the art's just like, you know. And I do want to get those little promo tiles, like the little Inari one, you know. So.
I'm just glad that Actual Sushi, which I love, doesn't have a cute little face like these two, because I would be really guilty.
Hey, paint little smiley faces on all my sushi, and I'll go, num num num. You're so good.
You would.
I want to hear them scream.
Ah! You just want to hear me scream.
I want to hear them beg for their life as I go, "Mwah, little sushi, time to die." Anyway, those are our honorable mentions. We should probably get to our number 11 and fly through this. So our number 11 is a little bit of cheating, but I don't really think it's cheating because it's really a whole category of games. You know what it is. This was the year
Yes, I do.
that we discovered Button Shy. This is an amazing publisher, and I want to own every single one of their games. I'm part of their Board Game of the Month Club, so I get one of these every month. So that's really fill my hole. My board gaming hole needs filling. So this is just a selection of some. I mean, obviously the one I think was their biggest discovery as a great two-player only game is Oreos, which we have a playthrough of this coming. This is one of our go-tos. And Tussie Mussie. So on the subject of games like Sushi Go that are good for every occasion, this is a really good one. I have all the expansions in here so I can play it solo. I can play it up to 5, which... You know, it still works.
That's good.
Still works.
Yeah.
I don't think you could do it up to 6 with just the way the math would work out. I think 5 is kind of the max with the expansions that I have. But yeah, that's a really good one. Sprawlopolis works great solo, and it's also one we've enjoyed playing co-op here and there. Could do that a little bit more.
Definitely.
And this is a recent one you really got into. This is another two-player only one called Tides, where you're collecting beach trash and making tchotchkes to sell to tourists. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Gives me real Santa Barbara vibes. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. There's always like every Sunday there's a big art walk along Cabrillo Boulevard, which is along the beach.
Right, and so these are all 18-card games. That's the shtick of Button Shy games. They're all 18-card games, which is still an amazing concept to you. I'm a little, desensitized to it now. I'm like, oh yeah, 18 cards, you got plenty. Yeah, so Tussie Mussie is an I split, you choose. Oreos is simultaneous action selection with some tableau building.
That's what makes that one so much fun.
Yeah, Tides is a multi-use cards because you're flipping the cards during high tide and low tide. So
I love the high tide, low tide thing on this one.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, so they have so many different kinds of games that are all completely different. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. They do a lot of RPGs if you're into that.
Well, and plus these are top flight game designers. Elizabeth Hargrave is the most successful board game designer out there.
Steve Armini isn't anyone to sniff at either.
Exactly.
You know?
So, I mean...
Or Scott Holmes.
Yeah, so, I mean, and these are really quality games in a small package.
And my favorite thing about Button Shy, though, is the quality of these cards. These are the best quality cards in the industry. I'm just going to go ahead and say, because they're silk finish.
Yeah, I like
Feel those babies. Oh my God, they're so good. I don't think you can see it very well on camera, but they feel amazing. I would never sleeve these cards because every time I play one of these games, I just feel so luxe.
When I was in Harvard, I smoked weed every day. I cheated every test and started all the games.
I feel fancy.
All this from a Harvard graduate.
Well, there's a lot you may not know about me.
That's definitely a publisher and games you're going to continue to see a lot of on this channel because we are obsessed with them. At number 10, published by Nintendo and designed by a bunch of Japanese dudes.
For the course of probably dozens of years, if not centuries.
It was the 1600s.
Koi Koi is, you could call it a card game. They're so small, they look like about the size of maybe a large stamp.
Pull them out. Yeah, because the standard size for Koi Koi is 10 by 10 millimeters or centimeters, I think. So they're much smaller than Western playing
cards. But they are cards.
And they're on stiffer cardboard. They're still cards, technically, just very stiff. Yeah, you gotta crack them together.
A clackum. Oh, okay. Okay. Ooh.
Good for slapping that ball. Koi koi!
So this game, it's a ton of fun. You're trying to make combinations.
Which koi koi
of
means come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, and it's basically when you've made a
Make my day.
What is it? What is it called? The where you score the big hootie cows.
The combos? Yaku.
Yaku's. Okay, I was gonna just make.
When you make
something.
a yaku.
Yeah, when you make a
Yaku! Koi koi.
that's when you can say koi koi. It literally is like
It's like up the ante in poker.
yeah, because you can stop and immediately go to counting.
I'm just gonna get my points, or I'm gonna go double or nothing.
Yeah, it's
Or
so
triple.
what do they call
Quadruple.
it? It's a push your luck. It's got push your luck.
Very much so. It's a gambling game, essentially. I mean, that's what it was designed for originally.
Oh look, I got the boar.
Your favorite, you always get upset when I try to take that board.
I do.
Because that's one of the Yaku you can make. It's the animal one. So it's the boar, the deer, and the butterfly.
Yeah, I
It's
like
one of the
that
potential combos. So once you
you-
learn all
you-
the combos,
You
it's
have
kinda-
to learn the combos,
little bit of
and
memorization
some of them
involved.
are, there might be as many as 5 cards involved in the combo.
like for the ribbons.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it didn't really take that long to learn them. Well, this is in Japanese, which I don't read, but it does show little
It has pictures of the different combos.
Yeah,
so,
with the
you know.
number of points that you get for it.
I think on BGA they have a different style of tracking the points, and you can also do kind of the trick-taking style of tracking the points. You just get the points, but then you have to subtract the other person's points from your score at the end of the
That
round.
sounds more complicated.
There's different ways you can do it. Yeah, I think the traditional way is just after you call koi koi, you double your points, and it's either all or nothing. You either get the points or you don't. You
Right.
just add them up, as opposed to having to have your
And
score
like when it's your
swing.
turn, you have 2 ways you can score. You can just play it. You can play it from your hand, and then there's a matching element where you match something. In
So the way
field.
the way the game turns work is you have 8 cards in the field to start. Everyone has a hand of 8 cards. You
Right.
can't add cards to your hand. You can only capture cards by matching one from your hand to one in the field. And then once you've captured one, if you can't capture one, you have to add one to the field, and then you draw a card from the top of the stack, and you have to match that with something in the field, or you have to leave it in the field.
Oh
That's
yeah,
how
it's the
it
turning.
happens.
It's the turning the card over, like after you.
Yeah. So nothing directly goes into your hand. You're just trying to use your starter hand to kind of capture things, and other things are going to come automatically. So you're trying to curate the field in such a way that it's going to work out for you timing wise in order to make the combo.
It's a little hard to describe, but it's not that difficult. You do have to learn the different suits. So you might look at these two and think that they're the same suit because they have the same kind of plant growing it, but it's not.
So there's
For
12
each.
suits because there's 12 months to the year. And so each suit is a different flower that is native to Japan. So there's 48 cards total in the deck. So the real barrier to entry is just learning all 12 suits and getting used to recognizing them and which ones go together, because you're matching cards of a suit is how you manage to capture cards.
Okay, so here's another one. These two look sort of superficially like they might be the same suit, but they're actually different suits. This is
There's willow
Pine.
and then pine.
Yeah, willow and pine. They look similar, and I forget the one that I just showed you. This one.
So that's koi koi. Do you have any other thoughts about koi koi?
No.
Okay, at number 9 on our list, published by De Vere and designed by Jose Ramon Palacios, it's Lavinia. I think one of our most surprising discoveries of 2022. I had heard about this from a Thinker Themer video where they like to do their small box reviews for Small Talk. And this is one that Amy had described as a euro in a small box package, which is a very accurate description of this, I would say. I got it for $12 on a Black Friday sale that De Vere was having because I wanted to get Castle Party 2. And I wanted to make the shipping worth it. But yeah, this is a game where we've inherited a winery, I guess. Basically, you're going along the strip kind of Tokaido style, where the person in back gets to go ahead of the next person. So it's kind of like this rondelle kind of action. And you're trying to collect these different grape cards as you come along, because we own a vineyard, to then go deliver to these contract fulfillment cards here. We're delivering grapes to different wineries. So we're either delivering all of the same kind of grape or a combination of different grapes to make a, what do you call that? The combined wines.
Coupon.
But basically it's contract fulfillment with like little kind of workers. It's kind of like worker placement when you think about it. You're using the workers to collect the cards and then go deliver the grapes to get points. But you only have a certain number of deliveries you can do because you have 8 barrels and you're trying to use those barrels. You place one to cover up one of the spots on the card. So you're racing not just for the spots on the cards, but trying to decide how you're going to divide up the 8 barrels that you have. Because
Right.
once one person delivers all their barrels, that triggers the end of the game. And that's basically how Lavinia works.
Yeah, it's a point game, basically.
Very
And-
point salad.
And a race game. I would say those are probably...
Yeah, very much a race element. And I played this with Shelly and Jamila. She just ended the game before I even knew what had happened to me. And I was like, what? No! I had the biggest basket! She didn't even manage to upgrade her baskets at all. And yeah. So what did you think of this game?
I liked it. This is one I played at the beginning of December because I had been out of the state.
Yeah, this was one of the first games.
And you got it while I was gone. And then it was one of the first ones we played when I got back. Castles of Burgundy being one of the other ones, although that was later in the month. But anyway, we've played this a number of times and I've liked it every time. I haven't won every time. I have won. So that's all that matters. It's like I can play it. I might win. I might lose. But it's still fun.
What did you enjoy about the game? What made it fun?
I'm just laughing because what made it fun was, he likes to, the way that it works is when you go to deliver you have 2 different workers, right?
In the 2-player game.
Yeah, in the 2-player game you have 2 workers. And so he always likes to go right to the end because you get
Zip. That is a thing you can do, yeah. Because you get extra token that's worth +1 grape.
Anyway, that's what I mean, you're asking me what was fun. It was like doing that first and then the look of shock on his face where it's like, yeah, he gets very foul-mouthed. And then
Often.
next thing he does is he's gonna hit me. And then, okay, not really. None of that actually happened. Well, maybe.
I never said I was a role model.
Yeah.
I'm quick to check a bitch if she is out of line.
The you f***er happened, though. And anytime I can get that from Andy, it's like I feel vindicated.
So I highly recommend this game for you and your friends. Maybe not if they're prone to violence.
Yeah, don't, no.
It's not like that crazy mean, but it's very competitive.
Yeah, I think that's
Very competitive. So great for competitive players, which is not often a type of game we're strongly recommending. So,
I think it's good they didn't go with too many. There's only like 5 varietals. I'm glad they limited it because if they put only 4, better still. And it's just because you're not sitting around waiting for them. Like Andy will tell you, I hate games where it's like you're just like, please, can this please come out? And then, it's not after 2 hours.
I like the little
playing.
tools in this game you
Yeah.
can use to kind of alter the way that you can draft. It helps give you a little bit of flexibility to get the grapes that you really need when you need them. So
Right.
I didn't find that element was too bad. in
No,
this game.
I
You
love
shuffle the
that.
deck.
I love that.
Yeah.
It was carefully. I like games
It's
that seem
well-balanced.
carefully, carefully crafted,
Yeah.
giving you those little tools, like he said.
It's low to no luck for sure, and that's why I say it's very Euro in a box, in a small box.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's a great game, Lavinia. At number 8, which this is, I'm going to give you a spoiler for my solo list. This is a crossover, but this is a game published by Pearl Games and designed by Nicolas Robert, and this is The Bloody Inn. We talked about in our spooky tabletop and toast as well. This is one of our favorite games, I think. One of our biggest surprises of
This is,
2022.
if you were asking me, this was the game I think that I was most looking forward to playing in 2022. I had heard about it, didn't really know that much, but just the premise.
Right, so you're family murderous innkeepers in 1800s France, and you're trying to make a buck, okay? And how do you make a buck? You lure unsuspecting cops into your inn, you kill them, empty out their pockets, and bury them under the barn. As you do, because the police. Not just the police, you're killing everyone. But, you especially want to kill the cops so they don't discover you if any bodies lying around. Oh, what a faux pas that would be.
It's okay to leave bodies lying around if there aren't any popo.
Yeah, the villagers don't care. They're not going to narc on us as long as we pay them at the end of every round.
Right.
So there's bribery involved, which you said you love any game with bribery, and this one definitely, that's a big mechanic in the game.
I like that.
And so there's a strong engine building element to the game as well, because when you bribe the different guests in the inn, or the peasants, as the case may be, who are free, you don't need much, you still have to pay them, but they're free to enlist. So basically, once you get the card, you can either kill the person, or you can
make him an accomplice.
You can transfigure them into a building, because it's like the curse from Beauty and the Beast. We're in France, and you can make them into a building which has a special ongoing effect. And if you get enough of those going, it helps you be able to just kill and rob and bribe more efficiently.
Well, and you do have, as I was saying, you do have accomplices.
So the accomplices, you can keep them in your hand, and then you can sort of recycle them to use them to kill some of the harder to kill characters. Like the cops often are hard to kill, so that's what you would use your accomplices for. And certain types, if they have certain matching icons, depending on the action you're using them for, you can then just put them back in your hand after you use them. So there's a big card management thing going on.
As he was pointing out, there's like a few things that are a little strange, like people becoming buildings.
Yeah, multi-use cards. This is another one with multi-use cards.
Yeah, because it's not really, you can see a little building at the bottom of the card. But
it is confusing at first when you teach it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other people sometimes don't get it at first. However, I will just say it is a tremendous amount of fun. It's just
easy to get into. For the amount of strategy involved and what you're doing mechanically in the game, it all works really well together.
And, this is another game where there is elements of cooperativeness to the game, even though it's a competitive game.
You can do mutually beneficial things.
Yeah.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I won't kill the guy that's staying in your room so that you can get your area control points with the keys if you don't do the same to me, and we'll just kind of,
Yeah, you can make little
You do you, boo.
Yeah, like, are you gonna kill that guy? Because you want to know.
Well, especially with the cops, because if you don't kill the cops and you have any dead bodies laying around, if anyone has any dead bodies laying around, that's going to be bad. We're all going to be screwed. So the thing you really are going to end up cooperating on is like, let's all agree we're killing the cops this round, right? Or we're not leaving any bodies out.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of coordination that does behoove you, I think, generally, without really taking away the competitiveness of the game.
Yeah.
Okay, at number 7, now this is a game we only played a couple of times, but it really impressed us, and I just love this game so much. And that is a game published, speaking of French people, the name of this publisher is Sorry We Are French, and this game is designed by Kuta Yamada, Japanese designer, and this is Iki. I love you so much, Iki. Oh.
It's the reason I think we would have played it more. There's quite a bit of setup involved in this game, and it takes up a fair chunk of real estate on your.
So this is a worker placement game, and a very interesting twist on worker placement, because you have different sort of levels of workers. So you have workers that you use to determine how far you're going to go around this rondel, which is the Nihonbashi Marketplace, because this takes place in Edo era Japan. And then you also have sort of these workers that live in the stalls that are represented by these cards. So you're placing other workers on these cards, and you can juice up these cards. So you're doing business not just with the workers that you have, but the other person is doing business with your workers and potentially juicing up the potential benefits for you when you get to the end of the different phases. So it's really point salad at the end of the day, but it's really interesting. It's another game that goes through 12 rounds because they're the different months and the different seasons. So there's sort of variable phases at the end of the different parts of the year. And fires are going to break out. So better make sure that you have some workers who know how to fight fire in this game, because Edo is going to burn. And it's going to burn more than once. And just the art and the aesthetic of this game is so great. I love that it's a historical game about ordinary day working people, because that's something I think we need more of. And I just love the idea of worker management. Not just having workers automatically for you, but being able to curate your workforce, you know, and create an engine building through the different abilities that your workers have.
Ultimately, you're going to start making buildings near the end of the game.
I mean, it depends on your strategy. I think some people might start with buildings if they have a really juicy benefit. We generally haven't because we like to overpower when we get to the New Year's celebration and just go wild, which is a little bit game breaky, but not too much. What do you think of this game, baby?
Really pretty game. It is one of the crunchier ones I feel like I've played. I don't know that Andy would agree, but it's just that
it's medium weight.
Games that have a lot, like you're doing a lot of different things in the game. Those are the ones that I consider crunchy because you're not just doing the same thing over and over, or like in Koi Koi where you're just matching suits or something.
It's a lot of resource management.
Yeah,
for sure.
There's definitely, you got to keep your eye on a number of different things if you're going to win. And so that makes it crunchy. And it was fun. Beautiful art. It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, we gotta show Mount Fuji. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, the inside of the box. Look at this.
Oh my god. Just this is everything to me. So when we play this game, I just set it up at eye level on the other side of the board. So Mount Fuji is kind of overlooking the marketplace board. Oh my god. Aesthetics, immersion, thematics, immersion.
A game that I have not played that I kind of am curious about, and I want to know, like, how similar is this to Teotihuacan?
Mechanically, kind of similar in the sense that you're moving in a circular path and you can't go backwards, and you're trying to land at certain places to do action spots. And you do have some dice worker management, but you only have 3 dice. I think it would kind of remind you of this and kind of Praetor a bit as well. The way that you're managing your
It's
dice.
just, Andy's said before that he really loves, well, like you said, the aesthetics. I love Japanese culture as well. So, I mean, anybody who likes Japanese culture would probably like this.
And this is the
strong feeling of
it. And this is the exact opposite of Orientalist because it's actually a Japanese designer who actually did research on Japanese history. Like, if you're a Japanese history nerd, I think this game will just tickle you because there's so many great, like, little details. Because, again, this is about ordinary day working people. They all have jobs that people in the marketplace in Edo would have had at that time. Like, you're selling tobacco and you're, selling little pipes and you're seamstress or you're a fishmonger, and the art's so good of all the different characters. They're also like unique looking, and it just has kind of a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but also very, very lovingly produced.
Not an entry-level game by any means.
I would say it's a next step level game. It's not so complicated. I think a newer gamer couldn't get into it, but it's definitely something I would introduce to them after they played like Seven Wonders and Dominion and stuff. It's not crazy heavy. I think the most complicated thing is just remembering which phases to resolve at which round, because the way that the cards and the workers work and how you kind of move around on your turn, that's not complicated. There's just a lot of steps.
A lot of steps,
each round. So,
a lot of pieces to move too. I think the first time I played it, I thought, oh my god, there's too many pieces. But
yeah, this is one of the ones that got us over that hump of being intimidated by having a big setup. So,
it's true. Although I do think that maybe is why we didn't play it more, because you do need. It's not that the game feels particularly long, but you do need longer in order to set it up and take it down.
Last time we played it took us an hour and 45, and that was about a 15-minute setup in there. It's a game you can play in under 2 hours easily. I think at 2, you could definitely wipe one out in an hour and a half if you're an experienced gamer easily. 4 probably would be more like a 2-hour plus game. I think just because there's so many phases, so many steps to resolve in the different phases, But it's a really good game. I highly recommend. Iki. And at number 6, published by Pandasaurus Games, our favorite publisher, and designed by Joaquin Tome. This was, I think, one of our biggest surprises of 2022, and that is Wild Space. Very excellent card chaining game. You're animals in space, and you're trying to recruit more space aliens and robots into your crew so that you can get the most points at the end. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's not a super complicated game.
No, it isn't.
But the card chaining, you only have 10 actions in the whole game in order to be able to get done all these different set collection-y kind of things. So there's a big efficiency thing because some of the cards have effects that you can trigger if you have certain other icons already visible in your tableau. So there's a really interesting kind of action generation card chaining. That's the card chaining mechanic. So you can have turns where you can only play one card, which is disappointing, or you can have a turn where you're able to play 6 cards in a row, which is oh so satisfying when you can make it happen.
Oh yeah, talk about your experienced crew.
Your veterans.
Your veterans, yes.
You want the ones with medals.
and you have a little on.
Do you have experience? Because this is going to be a long space voyage.
I mean, you start out with the captain of your crew, and above the captain is this veterans track.
Yeah, you bump in a little track.
Right, and it has to do with not all of the cards you get are veterans. They actually are like decorated with a little medal.
They're the most attractive.
But when you get, or I think when you play, then
when you build the veteran, you get to
Yeah.
bump that, and you get a little bonus, or like extra action usually, or extra card play, which are really
Right.
valuable.
I feel like that's just another one of those little touches. We were talking again
Mm-hmm.
about Lavinia having the little tools that allowed that.
Yeah.
So this is why it's just a really well thought out
Yeah.
game. Plays pretty quick. It's exciting because
I agree. 30 minutes or less at 2. It's just like bing, bang, boom, real snappy. And
Yeah.
to your point, I like mechanics that allow you to become more efficient as you play the game. That help you kind of build a little mini engine a little bit. I'm always a big fan of that. And bonuses. Just bonuses. You know, so there's a pretty positive feedback loop in the game if you're doing things well, if it's working out for you. Like the hand management aspect of this game is a really big thing. And if it's not working out for you, it's like, oh, well, it's going to be over in 10 rounds anyway. And they're pretty quick. Unless you're having a lot of AP about things, which is definitely a possibility in this game. So we played this at 5, and it took longer than I would have liked, even though they were veteran players, because... you know, there's just a lot of AP about what should I do. I want to do things as efficiently as I can in this game. So there is a good solo mode to this game, but it didn't make my solo list because I tend to like playing it with you better. Because I like just egging you on. It's just like seeing you do well. Like when because you're better at doing the card chaining, I think, in general, than I am. And I'm always like, I want to be your little cheerleader and be like, oh, baby, that's a good chain.
I don't know why, but there are games that I seem to have better luck at. And this is one of those games that I ended up having good luck at it. I don't
We're pretty
understand
tit for
how good-
tat victory-wise.
It's
but
true, but I do get this one. It is a little bit more like the order. There's doing things in an order that'll get you the most points, and that's one of the things.
Yeah, it's a fun game that will probably, I don't think it's leaving our collection anytime soon. And I was just not expecting a lot going into this game. And I don't think that this is a game that's been super the hotness or anything, but just we really have really enjoyed it. It's been a cornerstone of kind of our rotation over the last 6 months. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And you just got recently an expansion.
Yes, and then I want to print out, there's a print and play space base expansion, which just kind of helps you also do things a little bit more efficiently. So when we do our playthrough, I want to integrate that into that because there's not any content on the expansions for this, and I would like to be the first to film some. So that's Wild Space. Ever Forward. So now let's talk about our number 5. We're in the top 5 now. And
Yay.
this is a game published by Z-Man and designed by Matt Leacock. I think you guys have a pretty good idea what it is.
Which it's thematically, I don't know, probably thematically this is my favorite because I just love the whole idea. It goes back to when I was a kid and like seeing Andromeda Strain on the first time. But you know, you're in a race here too.
Yeah, so it's a cooperative game and you're trying to cure diseases before they can spread out too much on the globe.
Right. And there's different roles. You're a character in the game. So you have different abilities.
Asymmetric character powers.
Asymmetric.
Life's a show, and we all play our parts.
I like that because I'm really very fond of cooperative games, and I like how you just get to where you're divvying up roles because there's different connections between the way
You're
that,
jet setting. You're flying
Yeah,
all
you
over
are.
the globe. Okay.
and when a virus hits
Asia.
in one city, and then it hits again,
Singapore.
it starts spreading. It doesn't spread to all cities. It spreads to the ones that are connected to the initial city that it was in.
Oh, God help us if Europe starts having an outbreak.
Right, yeah, Europe's really connected.
Okay,
to
you
a
go
lot.
take care of Europe. I'll go over to Asia and take care of that. And then maybe we'll all meet up and set up a research thing in Tehran, and the Persians can cure the disease.
Yeah.
Because the white people are too sick over here in Europe. They don't even know their head from their ass.
Yeah, it seems like when we've played it, it's almost always Europe and Asia that seem to be the most
Because they have the
active.
most interconnection.
Hardly at all in South America or Africa. Somewhat in-
Africans have suffered enough.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat in North America. One time we had
Yeah.
one where it was pretty bad.
Yeah, because then you start in North America, so you're most likely to kind of like, oh, well, bye the U.S. I want to go see the world. I mean, there's a lot of sick people out in the world, but I guess that's what gets you off. But it's a really, this sat on my shelf of shame for a year and a half before we played it. And this was just really, we're like, we have to play this game this year. It has to happen. And we did. And wow, that time we played with Yemi, I'm still shook. I'm still gagged.
It was like so close to a total meltdown.
The last turn.
Yeah, the last turn. And we didn't even think we were going to be able to do it. And I don't know how Yemi came up with this plan, but it actually worked. And we just made it.
My heart is pumping. Oh my god, just thinking about it. Maybe it's the coffee.
It's probably the... Now, like the... So, number 1, treat diseases before they spread. Number 2, meet up to collect cards. Number 3, discover the
Yes.
cure for the disease, cure all 4 diseases, and free the world from pandemic.
Where there's life, there's hope. Every day's a gift.
Such a good game. I know this is such a like, oh my god, they just discovered Pandemic, how basic, but you have to understand, we're still newer gamers, okay? And this one just really floored us. I really want to get Pandemic Legacy. So we love
Yeah,
Legacy
yeah.
games, and that's a must for us in 2023. Because we had such a great experience with this. And that's basically just playing the Pandemic over and over again, but with a story and different kind of characters.
I think
different
there's
stuff.
other people we could play this with even.
Oh yeah,
besides
Shelly
Yemi.
and Jamila really liked it. Definitely going to be seeing some game day time again because I'm sure Yemi wants to play it again. So that's
Sure.
Pandemic. Highly recommend if you haven't tried it out
Oh,
before and you
oh,
like
yeah.
co-ops.
And also, I just shout out to Matt Leacock because I am a very fond of both Forbidden Island and Forbidden Desert.
Those are two of our big gateway games, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I think that, again, those are also cooperative games.
We did get Forbidden Desert off the shelf of shame this year as well.
Yeah,
in addition to
which
that.
was fun.
Yeah.
It's similar to Forbidden Island, but
Very.
it's similar, but it's different enough.
I do like discovering the Forbidden City a little bit more as kind of a theme and a mechanic in that game.
Right.
I wish I had more of a sense of discovering the Forbidden City, though. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm asking too much, clearly. But finish your thought before we...
Well, it's just that I like games. It seems like it's the cooperative ones where there's the most talking going on. So, I mean, really, it seems to me that
table talk?
the cooperative games are the most social. And I really
I agree.
enjoy that.
Yeah, you just gotta all be on the same page in this game because if it starts to be too many cooks in the kitchen and you're not vibing. I really think 2 to 3 I think 3 is the sweet spot for this game because
Yeah.
2, it's hard for you to divvy up those roles and
Right.
okay, you go here and I'll go here.
World's a little too big.
And at 4, it becomes a little harder to coordinate, I
Right.
think, especially if people have different ideas. But I think it's just a really great cooperative game, I think, for that. And if
I'm
you're not
sure-
into that cooperative element, you're not going to like the game. I
Yeah,
think is
that
what it
was
boils
the
down
only
to.
cooperative one on the list.
Oh, wow, we're changing. Is it for the better, though? I don't know.
I don't know.
Doing 120, getting hit while I'm swerving.
Damn, Natalie.
Yo, shut the up.
But anyway, great game.
Next up, at our number 4, this is a game published by Flat Out Games and AEG and designed by Randy Flynn. It is none other than all the hotness still, Spiel des Jahres winner.
Cascadia, which is a region of the United States and Canada. It's right here in the rule book, the first page. There we go. We see Cascadia, so it goes...
Starts in the very tip of Northern California and goes all the way up to British Columbia.
Parts of Oregon, all of Washington, parts of Idaho. Then here you can see it goes up into Canada. And then goes probably back into the United States again, when you're right up here in Alaska.
Does it go all the way to Alaska?
Yeah, it does. You can see, yeah. So
So what are you doing in this game, baby?
in this game, you are getting hexagonal tiles that are the environments, and there's usually 2 environments, although some of them are just 1 environment. You are trying to put the environments together so that they're actually contiguous.
And scoring for adjacencies.
Yeah, they have to share a border. They can't just share a corner.
Yeah, and then when you draft the tiles, you're getting an animal token. So each hexagonal tile has 1, 2, or 3 animal icons on it. So you're trying to cover those icons with the animal tokens in order to score these different patterns on these variable scoring cards that you have.
Yeah, let's see if we can see that. Oh, it's okay. It's not a great picture here. These are just your
on the
component.
screen. You don't need to.
Oh, you don't need to do this. Okay, maybe I'll just go like this. All right. Anyway, on your turn, you are getting a tile and a token that has an animal on it. You don't have to put the animal that you draw together with the tile. Sometimes it works out, oh, you want that animal, but hey, that tile there is going to extend my grassland.
You have options.
And then there's ways of tweaking it so that you don't have to take the matching token with...
Right, with your pine cone, your nature tokens. I just call them the pine
I don't know. This is just one of those games that's kind of like... It is basically multiplayer solitaire in some ways.
Yeah.
But other people can get, let's say you want salmon because you're trying to make a salmon run. You do have to put up with the fact that maybe the salmon come out for one of the other players and they're not coming out for you because you're only getting bears.
So we just introduced this to some other people. We played it with Shelly and Jamila the other night, and they really enjoyed it. Again, this was a case where I wanted to do some hand-holding with them because it's a pretty puzzly game. I could see it melt in your brain a little bit, but they were really getting into it.
No,
I thought.
I think it's about...
It's still pretty gateway friendly.
I would say, yeah, this is a real gateway friendly.
For sure.
Like, it wouldn't be, like, great for... Well, I don't even know what's the first age.
You could play it with your mother, your boss. You could play it with your new stepchild who hates you.
10 plus. I'd say that's right.
So it's perfect for your 10-year-old stepdaughter that's still calling you that my dad is ***ing.
Well,
Hey, this would be the perfect game for...
Maybe that's another whole other story.
But yeah, this has become one of Rich's favorite games for sure. This is, I think, probably going to end up on our most played list for 2023.
I think it will.
The rate we're going.
It plays relatively quickly.
30 minutes.
You don't need to... Sometimes people do get the analysis paralysis, but I just
Not too bad in this one.
I just try to nudge them out of it. It's like
Excuse
when you have that
you?
little... Yeah. Just carry it up.
Excuse you.
Come on.
Okay.
No, I'm not him. Generally, other people.
I was teaching this game to Shelly and Jamila and really hand-holding, and I still beat Shelly, so... The results speak for themselves.
I see. Okay, so winning is what matters to you.
I never said I was a role model.
But what about...
I just thought this was all about conservation and protecting the animals.
At number 3, a game that's more likely to bring us together or bring you and your partner together. Or you can't play it at 3 to 4. This is a game published by Cosmos and designed by the Dr. Reiner Knizia. That is My City, a legacy polynomial game. And this is a good example of the hype is real.
Oh,
Very
yeah,
much
yeah,
the hype is real.
definitely.
We played for this entire campaign in the first 6 days after we got it. That's how much we liked this one. And this was, I think, one of my favorite experiences. At
Oh
this
yeah,
table
yeah,
with you in
yeah.
2022, for sure.
It was real. Okay, we haven't gotten to number 1 yet, but
It's good.
it's really good. This easily could have been number 1 as well. It's just, well, my God, there's some really good games out there. So,
That's right.
and this is one of them. And what I will say about this game is I have never had so much fun being kind of challenged, like at every
It
turn.
constricts you sometimes.
Yeah.
Because the way that the story kind of works is it's kind of a Civ builder kind of theme a
It is
little
Civ
bit.
building.
Or I guess it's colonialist technically. I'm
Well,
not sure where
there's
we're colonizing.
railroads. The railroads come,
Right.
and
So,
there's mining.
Each
going
chapter,
on.
as you go through the story, is just basically adds a new twist of a new mechanic. So it's a polynomial game, and there's some basic commonalities between each sort of scenario in the campaign. Like, you always have this river that you can't cross over with the tiles. You're sort of within the same space.
You can either lose points or get points according to what it's placed next to. I think there's trees and
Yeah, there's rocks, which
and stuff.
sometimes you're not supposed to cover them up, and sometimes you are supposed to cover them up. It
Exactly.
really depends on the scenario. And what's really interesting is it kind of feels like 24 different polynomial games in
Honestly,
one.
and then when the big
very
there's like a
fascinating.
big switch comes where you are
Too many spoilers.
more limited in the amount in the area in which
Sure.
you're gonna place these buildings or the tiles. And oh my God, it was just so much fun and very surprising. There's just, you will have experienced some really pleasant surprises along the way. I
Yeah.
think it's brilliant.
Yeah, if you like puzzly games like we do, obviously, this is a must, I think, if you're someone that plays a lot with your partner, just working through this campaign, because each game is like less than 30 minutes. I think the 30 minutes on the box for each game is almost like more time than you need. What we did is we averaged about 4 games per session, so that's why we were able to work through that campaign really quickly, and it was just very addictive. Had this really
Yeah,
addictive
it
quality
really
about
did
it.
have an addictive
I
quality.
loved it, and I really want to work through the campaign again. I'm also looking forward to My Island, which is the follow-up to this, which,
Very much.
from the pictures I'm seeing, it is available for pre-order on Game Nerds.
Oh.
So we can
Yeah,
snag our copy.
it's good stuff.
Yeah, and very affordable, $38 MSRP. This is just a winner, chicken dinner.
Well, I know, because it'll literally feel like different games. I mean, I don't know how he managed to milk so much out of these mechanisms and concepts. He just,
He has a PhD in mathematics.
dang,
He is the doctor.
I want to know what that guy's IQ is. I really do, because I think
I'm
it's
sure
gonna be-
somebody has posted it on the
I
internet.
bet it's like off the charts, because just this game, you'll be delighted. That's
Well,
all
I mean,
can
he
say.
wears glasses, so.
Oh,
you
I know. Wait, where am I?
Just saying. Faker.
No.
Impostor! Impostor! That's my city. And at number 2 in our list, designed by
Yeah.
Inka and Marcus Brand, this is Rajas of the Ganges. Woo! A delightful worker placement game in which you are a medieval Indian Raja trying to achieve the most fame and also money. So this is a...
Let's get real.
Yeah, this is the Euro game we played the most in 2022, and your favorite Euro game, I think, so far after
Yes.
Praetor. And so in this game, it's a basic worker placement game for the most part, except you're using dice as a resource. So the reason I got this for Rich is because I wanted to get a dice chucker, because he loves chucking dice. This kind of did it first with the crossing tracks that they have in games like Ark Nova, where you have a money track that you're trying to bump up through kind of building things into your estate, kind of like a little... Reminds me of Castles of Burgundy, the way you're building out your board with tiles. And then you have another track, which is your fame, which you get by building lots of different temples and buildings and things. And so once you get those two to cross, that triggers the final round, and the person who crossed the farthest ends up winning. And whereas a lot of games, it's about getting the most victory points, this is about getting... Well, you're still trying to
Still
get them.
getting the most points.
But I just find that crossing mechanism really interesting.
It's
This one did it first.
It's visual. Unlike some games where you just have really no idea how you're.
No, this is a
stacking
total
up.
race game.
And it's very visual because you see.
Yeah, you know by the halfway point really who's going to win.
I don't know. So many times especially, I lost this game for the first 4 times we played it, which is a little unusual.
Because you have great beginner's luck.
Yeah, but I was really, really determined to keep playing it until I could figure the damn game out.
Yeah, it puts you in this mental space where you're really mental mathing things, as I like to say. And it, I wouldn't say quite makes your brain melt, but you're always trying to figure out the most efficient way to do things. And if you aren't doing things the most efficiently, often you feel like, wow, I barely got anything done this round. And there's really not that many rounds. There's like 6 or 7. It's kind of variable depending how quickly people are crossing their things. But because you have to spend money to make things, that track is constantly swinging back and forth. So it's really
you
hard
have
to know.
manage a number of different things. Like he's saying, there's reputation, and that's one of the tracks. But you have to be on top of the coin situation. Like
Early.
I think that early on, I noticed that Andy was getting out quite a bit in front of me in terms of his coins, and it was for the exact same reason you're saying.
But then I was behind in fame for the majority of the game.
So there's a lot of back and forth, obviously, in this game, because you are trying to figure out if you're going to be able to win.
Right, but it's nice because every turn you're unlocking some kind of bonus, or you're always able to do things. You know, as long as you're managing your dice as a resource smartly, you'll always be in a position where, ooh, I can do this to build this, then I can get the side bonus here. So it can get very bonus-tastic, and there is a positive, there's definitely a positive feedback loop in the game, I think, as you're building things out.
Yeah, it especially gets bonus-tastic in the expansion, which I think you are especially fond of. I'm always a little bit suspicious of expansions, but this one's actually pretty good. And I definitely like it on the for filling out your possessions on the board, your buildings and stuff. It definitely gives you a different point structure, so it totally keeps the game fresh.
Oh, he's talking about the advanced variant that comes in the box. There are several little mini expansions. I think they're called goodie boxes that you can add. Within the box, you do have another side of the board and another side to your collie tile, which is where you keep your dice, and it has extra tokens you can put on the bonus spots around the board as you're building out, so you can unlock different things. And then it also has a river variant where you have different tiles you can put on the river to make it different every time.
That's the one that I would be
spots.
most questionable about.
I love the river.
It's been interesting. I will say this, games, obviously a lot of games now are kind of expensive, but
$38 MSRP.
Exactly. This one's not, and you're getting a lot of game for that, and not just one game, because you change enough of the rules and certain other. Well, it's more of the bonuses. You get a lot of bonuses.
Yeah, I would say the kinds of bonus tiles you can get is variable. The arc of the game is always the same, but I think it's felt like it's played out a little bit differently every time. And because it has that race element, I think that keeps it very, very dynamic.
I do too. Well. I like games with a race element because it's just that they're inherently more exciting.
Well, Jamie would agree with you.
It's
her favorite genre.
Oh, really?
Yeah, her favorite genre is race games. So I enjoy race games. All right. There's a certain level of excitement. It definitely keeps you invested in what other people are doing.
I guess maybe another thing I would say about this game is I really do like the artwork. We haven't done our
it's very
episode,
colorful.
Yeah, where I want to do an episode where we just, talk about artwork and which is our favorite. And this is going to be one of them, I'm sure, because for me,
nothing but lookers in this collection.
Yeah, it's just really well done. I especially like the board. You were saying you thought maybe it was a little busy. But
when you look
really interesting.
It's just when you look at it at first, it's a little overwhelming because you don't know what all the spots are yet. And it's, it's like Indian art of the period in general. It's very ornate shall we say. And yeah, once you get used to it, I do find it very attractive. It's very colorful. It's very saturated.
It's not so big either. Like, I mean, this game is relatively compact as the way it plays. You each have your own board, and then there's the center board.
It's not too much of a table hog.
Yeah, no, it's not a total table hog, unless you have a particularly small
It's a
table.
really nice medium weight Euro that I highly recommend for people that are fans of worker placement and also rolling a lot of dice.
Me too.
Yeah. Rajas of the Ganges. Okay, you ready for our number one? Okay, I think the people at home could guess what the number one is going to be. Published by our new follower, Kids Table Board Games, and designed by Roberta Taylor, one of our new favorite Canadians. It's Creature Comforts.
Yay!
This, our favorite discovery of the year. Number one. Okay, this is another worker placement game, technically, that uses dice as a resource. So you can see that we have our fans.
I do
particularly
like
types of
dice.
games.
Yeah, I definitely
You love dice.
I like dice. In a game.
You love dice so much, I'm jealous of the dice.
Aw.
I might have to set your dice on fire.
I don't think they burn very well.
So this has perhaps our favorite theme, which is
Animals! Come on, we love these now. Wait.
they're getting ready for the winter, man. You gotta help these
Oh,
little family
I
of
know,
critters.
those little deers.
We want to make
Oh
sure
my
they're
God.
cozy, that they have all the comforts they need, rocking chair, nice quilts.
It's true. I actually do think about this stuff. We've had so much rain lately here in California. I'm like, little animals are all right.
Squirrels drown.
I know, he's not.
But I obviously have to play as the rabbits, and Rich always plays as the squirrels, even though the squirrels are purple, which is my favorite color. So I had to break my rule about player colors for this game because I hate
did.
squirrels so much. But anyway, so in this game, you're getting ready for the winter. This has a really interesting twist on worker placement in that you're using dice as a resource, but you have 4 of your own die, but you also have a shared pool of 2 dice. So when you start the turn, you roll the shared dice, so you know what those are going to be and kind of part of what you're going to have to work with. But you have to put your workers out first before you get to roll your own dice. So there's a little bit of a push your luck element because you don't really know until you start your turn whether you're actually going to be able to do the things that you were planning on doing with your workers. So there can be a lot of AP because you might have to recalculate or rethink some of your best laid plans after you roll that dice. And
it's been, well, I shouldn't say it's been that close. We did get kind of handed our own.
Tales
Yes.
by Logan and Anna.
Oh, wait.
They
Yeah.
did really great
Oh
when
my
we played
God.
this game with them. But that should only encourage you, as with Rajas, to get even better at it.
You're
And-
right, you're right.
Yeah, we've only played it a couple of times because we got it very late in 2022, but we just were so floored by this game. I mean, this is a game that I've had my eye on for months, all year practically. The second I saw this cover last January, I was like, oh no, we need to own that game. It's just
It is.
non-negotiable.
It's absolutely charming as far as a theme goes, and the materials are all very nice.
So this is the retail edition. I think the components are just straight up amazing. So I was holding out for a while because I'd heard that the Kickstarter components were supposed to be really nice and tactile, but you can get those as upgrades on the KTBG site anyway. So I figured let's just go ahead and pull the trigger on that. And we did for Christmas. And yes, this is my new favorite game right now. I'm so hot on it. We shall see if we're as hot on it in a year. But, for 2022
No, I think
discoveries.
it'll definitely be. It has so many similarities with a lot of other games that we already really like, including Rajas.
I love worker placement games.
Yeah.
So good.
I
There's
don't know.
a little bit of engine building, anything that has engine building in
I think
it.
Celia put her finger on it a long time ago when she was complaining, was it Carcassonne? Anyway, she was complaining because there's some games where you just don't have enough to do when it's not your turn. And then when you add
downtime.
AP involved, it's like, you're just waiting. Yeah. But this one isn't really like that because you actually...
Depends.
You
If
felt a
people can
little-
figure their stuff out fairly quickly, and if you can spend other people's turn thinking about what you're going to do, because once people start taking their turns, you all know what your dice are.
You should probably have some plan A's and some plan B's and some plan C's, like with this game and a number of others, where there's not just one way you're going to win. You have to honestly don't know if things are going to work out the way that you would like them.
Yeah, what's
to.
nice in this is one of those worker placement games where people don't block spots from you, so you can all go to the same
I always
spot.
like that better.
So, like,
Yeah.
Iki's like that. I like that better
Me too.
because the last player actually has an advantage over the first player in this game in that they have more time to kind of figure things out after they've rolled their dice. And the first player's like, okay, they're the ones whose turn is going to take the longest, just automatically, and it's not even their fault, kind of. So it's still kind of multiplayer solitaire, there was more downtime at 5 than I would have liked. But I think at 3 and 4 it'd be
whenever
fine.
we play with 5, it's always like that.
5's a really awkward player
I'm
count.
not a big fan of, like, 4 is okay, and some games are better at 4. This
course.
one is probably, I don't know. I feel like 3.
Rated too.
Yeah, and maybe even 3 might be the perfect number on this one. It
I
just
still
depends.
think 4 would be okay, And again, now that we've played
Well,
it a
isn't
couple of times,
It is only through 2 through 4.
we
isn't
played
it?
it at 5. That's why we're having this conversation right now.
Oh no, it does say 1 through 5. Well,
He's already forgotten the 5th player of this game, but that's okay.
Well, I didn't know we cheat sometimes and allow 5 players. If it's not critical with the count on the cards, sometimes it is and sometimes
yeah, like
it isn't.
tonight we're probably going to be introducing someone to Dominion, and that game only plays up to 4 because of the way that the
Why?
math.
It could.
It's the math of the cards. There's only enough money to go around for 4 people.
Just
is
get
why.
more money. Just print it.
Just print some extra.
Just print it. Let's
I need
go.
an upgrade pack for my money. What expansion of Dominion lets you play 5? I know there is one, but I can't remember which one
I
at this
don't know.
particular moment. But yeah, I think this is a really great game, and thinking about this game just gives me the warm fuzzies. Like, it's been a long time since I've played a game that I'm like, oh, I love this so much.
No,
I
he
love it
does
so much.
fall in love with games.
I do.
He's fickle.
I have a whole harem of 156.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be the King Solomon of games.
This is this is
And I love
harem.
every single one of my beautiful wives and husbands. So,
Yeah.
just saying. And just because she's the newest, hottest one on the block doesn't mean she's going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I'm sure not. And lots of replayability.
You're so replayable, baby. You're the most replayable game of my whole harem. I knew the first second I saw you, it was going to be forever. Love at first sight, baby.
Well,
You jealous, though?
no, but get a room.
So clearly we love this game. So that's Creature Comforts, our number 1 discovery of 2022. So that's our list of discoveries in 2022. Please get in the comments and let us know some of your games that you discovered in 2022.
Yeah, for real.
We just want to make a big shout out to all our new subscribers, and especially want to make a shout out to lovely people that comment on our videos, such as Father Paolo, the Catholic astrologer, who says that we're for sure going to end up on the rainbow list on BGG. You know, the board game Gulag. And I told him I can't wait to join the Rainbow Chain Gang.
Honestly, I want to thank
I hope he's watching right
Father
now.
Paolo for just getting the word gulag back in my vocabulary, because it's like an archipelago.
You know it, comrade.
Baby, we just need to get away. I'm gonna go to some archipelago or gulag or just someplace exotic.
I know a great place in Siberia. But
So thanks for that.
But seriously, we're really excited for the direction that the channel is taking, and we hope you enjoyed our wrap up of 2022. Next up on the docket, we are going to be having our most anticipated games of 2023. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, remember, be gay.
Do crime.
Don't get caught. Get
Get
gay, men. you like making videos of your partners? You love it? What about your herpes?
Nothing. Shut the fuck up.
I love it so, my deceased beast. Let me just take a sip from my Tyrannosaurus teacher. It's my first day teaching them. I'm like 2 months.
You're back to work.
I forget where I was going with this. Continue.
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know.
I don't know where it is.
It's.
Anyway, I don't even want to pull.
Oh, well, that's it. We only have 2 on it. Number 9.
Published
9.
by
No, this is number. You skipped 10. I'm sure you can't even see them.
It's going on. What is this? I don't know who that is.
But, okay,
Oh,
this
my
one.
You're spending a lot of time on this.
Okay.
Recording 20 minutes into the video.
Oh, God. Oh.
Something Aj.
Meritage? No.
Meritage?
No,
It's something
no.
like that. What's it called?
Oh, my God. I'm starting to rub off on him now.
I know you are. I just put something on top of it. Irish is winning.
I think I've changed it to gay men instead of gay men. And that, as they say, is a whole bunch of games.
Oh, it's not like we had to reshoot this like
No,
3 times or
no.
anything.